Okay, good practice today. That guy's energy was really good. Very physical practice again, continuing with our theme of being a physical team. And you know, as we analyze all the things to improve at and things that are going well, one of the things that has gone well is how physical that we're playing comparable to where we were a year ago, and making that decision about how we practiced in the spring and fall, and we can definitely see that paying off, especially up front on defense.
Obviously, you named as starting quarterback. What went into the decision to choose Cody?
Yeah, and you know, I know I mentioned to you guys about explaining later about it, but really just thought more about it. That's not really fair to the kids. You know, to come out here and say, well, this kid that. There's enough stuff I'm sure out there that they have to deal with for me to add on to that. Doesn't make any sense. So we expect Cody to play great Saturday, really take charge of this offense and get us back on a winning track.
Nothing against Max, but what's some of the things that Cody does well that you like?
Yeah, well, I think that, you know, Cody manages situations that nobody outside of you know, our team would see, and you know, whether that's audibles, whether that's things in the huddle, getting things fixed, getting people aligned. So you know, he's still obviously very inexperienced, and so he'll play great Saturday.
Looking back, do you think the whole, you know, non-decision thing or using two quarterbacks from the start was a good idea?
Well, yeah, I do. You know, we didn't know. We've never seen both of them play in this offense, you know, this year, and just to have some, you know, game snaps with them. You know, I'm sure at some point we're going to need Max, and he knows that. Was very valuable for us.
What do you think you might open up the offense?
What I think might open up?
What do you think you might? Yeah.
Oh, you know, I don't know that question exactly. You know, obviously we're not pleased with the outcome of the amount of points and amount of yards in the game, and you know, we're working on that. At the same time, you know, we take positives from our performance in the game. That, you know, we've got a running back that's run the ball really well. First time since 1981 of opening games of back 100-yard games. Our defense is playing phenomenal, which was obviously a big emphasis of our changing in the offseason, of going to this scheme and you know, dedicating the style of practice towards helping what was a big issue for us, which was stopping the run a year ago. So, you know, strange as it may seem, there's a lot of things going really well. Unfortunately, there's one really glaring thing that is sticking out, and that's the passing game. And if that's just normal, you know, we're in a totally different situation right now. I'm not even saying if it's great, if it's just normal, that game's a completely different game.
Do you feel like it's too conservative?
Yeah, I feel like it's too conservative because we lost. And so anytime you lose, you're not going to sit there and say, well, I do the exact same thing. And so, you know, we're not trying to lose. You know, just because you run the ball doesn't mean you're not trying to score. You know, we were trying to win the game. Felt that our defense was playing great in the game, as they were. And, you know, unfortunately, you saw when we went to two different 2-minute situations, we turned the ball over and throw interceptions. And, you know, that is obviously what we're in the normal part of the game trying not to do. And for the rest of the game, didn't do that. And unfortunately, we handed them 7 points, and that obviously was a big difference in the game.
How do you think Marquise has played to this point?
Well, I think Marquise is pushing himself a little bit too much, trying a little bit too hard, which is very normal. You know, he's going to have frustration because we're not playing really well on offense. And so that's going to frustrate anybody that's competitive as he is. So, you know, we've gone back to some basics with him, and had a conversation with him Sunday, and expect him to play really consistent and well this Saturday.
In terms of the conversation about things you would like to see him not think about, or what kind of did you relay to him?
Well, just going back to just his job, you know, he's so competitive and he wants everybody to do so good and so well that sometimes, you know, that gets him off balance a little bit from just doing his job. You know, you got, you know, back-to-back games of fumbling a punt and another punt return that's set up to be a big return. The whole wall's set up over there and he drops the punt. So those are very abnormal things for him to have happen, and that just is just trying to do too much.
How about Boston College, the problems that they posed to you guys?
Playing extremely well, great running back, very big and physical. The offensive line is extremely well coached, big play receiver. And then on defense, they're extremely multiple and cause people problems. You know, going back to where the defensive coordinator was the year before, you know, they played really, really good defense and very aggressive defense.
Do you feel that your defense is ready to play against Andre Williams? He had a great play You had a great game last week. Do you think that you're ready for a pounding ground game?
Well, we're going to find out because obviously this is different than what we've just faced in the last 2 weeks. The style of play, this is much more like a Stanford type of offense, heavy run game, a lot of extra big bodies, and then deep play action pass. So this will be a very good test for us.
Sorry, go ahead.
With Trey carrying the ball as much as he has, 30-plus carries over the weekend, how do you kind of balance thinking about whether you want to keep him in there or get him out for a fresher back? At any point, did you consider trying to get him out just how many carries he had, or why did you end up continuing to go with him?
Yeah, we did consider it. That's not really how we'd like the numbers to be, but he was playing so well, and he was actually getting stronger as the game was going. You look at his fourth quarter runs, he's still running over people. He still looks like he's in the first quarter, and that's very unusual to be able to do. If we would have seen any signs of the other way, we would have switched it. But it was just how the game was going, and you want to make sure when a guy's playing like that, just to take him out just because you're supposed to take him out at a certain number of carries isn't the right thing to do. You got to try to win the game.
Is there an ideal number of backs you'd like to have playing at a given time? I mean, is there a number that's too many, or one, unless Trey's playing that well, is too few? What would that be? It
all depends how the game's going. It all depends on that day. We've been in some systems before where they've kind of been equal with two guys. We've been in the system before our year at Tennessee where it was almost one guy dominated the whole thing, much like what these last two games have been. But I would definitely anticipate seeing Justin Davis more in the near future.
How many more reps did Cody get today, and how much will that help him, do you think?
I think it'll help him a lot. He got a lot more reps than he normally gets, because of the two guys and switching them. So it's obviously good for him, good for his comfort level, and I think that you noticed a little bit more confidence out of him today. Knowing that he was the guy and kind of a better look in his hand and a little more decisive with throwing the football and not quite as much hesitation.
You mentioned that you had spent some time with Max, explaining, going over things with him. What was the message you delivered to Kessler when you told him he was going to be the starter?
Yeah, his is always easy. That's quick. That's really just about let's go. We got to get this thing right and play really well and then obviously a couple points of how we want him to play. It's always the other one you got to worry about and spend more time with because it's hard on them. They're all competitive kids.
With the conservative nature that
and then I'm going to bring Max right here for you guys.
With the conservative nature that you talked about, do you think that you as a coach might benefit from having more of a risk-taking mentality?
Well,
the offense?
I'll benefit as a coach when we win games, and that's what my job is to do, is to win the game. And felt in that game we were doing the best thing to win. And obviously, it's easy to sit here and say, well, you didn't win the game, so why aren't we doing the other way? Well, when we got in spread-out situations, we threw 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown. And the rest of the game, we don't turn the ball over. So, if we avoid those, especially the first turnover in that spread-out situation, we easily win the game. So. I've got to do the best that I feel to win the game and not worried about what stats are like or what people write or my offense, any of that. This is a team, and we win as a team, we lose as a team, and I can't worry about how we're winning. I got to worry about winning the game.